Toy Lab.
You've heard of Christmas in July, but what about Thanksgiving in the summer? Hi, I'm Tonya. Today I'm going to show you a recipe, summertime Thanksgiving dinner. Usually it's prepared in the crock pot. Using freezer meal techniques, I'm going to show you how to convert a crock pot recipe into freezer meal recipes and explain why you should even bother to do that. This summertime Thanksgiving dinner recipe reminds us of turkey and stuffing. If you were making it in the crock pot, you would put chicken breasts down first, then a whole box of stuffing mix, and then make a sauce of cream of chicken soup, sour cream, and some chicken broth to put over the top. It will cook on low all day long and the flavors will mingle, and at the end of the day you have a delicious dinner, a casserole that reminds you of Thanksgiving. Now, crock pots are great time-saving techniques. They are wonderful for the busy home cook. But this recipe, even though it's for the crock pot, takes a lot of time. You have to measure the sour cream and the chicken broth and mix it in with the cream of chicken soup to put on top in your crock pot. I propose to make things even easier for your evening, 2 different ways of converting this crock pot recipe or any crock pot recipe into a freezer meal. 2 different ways I'm going to show you right now. One of the most important tenets of freezer meal cooking is to buy in bulk and cook in bulk. If you are going to make this recipe for your dinner, don't just make 1 copy of it, make 2 copies. Double the recipe and eat 1 for dinner and then save the other in your freezer for another night. We are going to double this recipe. Where's my chicken broth? Here's my chicken broth. Since we are doubling this recipe, you are going to need a big bowl. If you don't have a big bowl, I have a link in the description below for a nice big bowl that you could have just for yourself. I use mine so often, especially when I'm doubling recipes. Summertime Thanksgiving dinner, you're just going to dice up some chicken. Now I've left this slightly frozen so it is easier to slice through. It is less slimy and wiggly on my cutting board. What I should have done was made the sauce in the bowl first and then add the diced chicken, because now I'm going to dirty up 2 bowls. Oh well. The recipe calls for 1 can of cream of chicken soup, we are doubling the recipe. 2 cans of cream of chicken soup, a 1/3 cup of chicken broth, so twice that is 2/3 cup of chicken broth, 1/2 cup of sour cream, twice that is 1 cup of sour cream. I like using a glass bowl so I can look through the glass and see if anything needs to be mixed better. All right, let's add the sauce to the chicken. Now, when this is a crock pot recipe, you put the raw chicken in the crock pot, dump the box of stuffing on top of the raw chicken, and then put the mixture on top. Cover it, cook it on low all day. For a freezer meal, we are mixing the sauce and the raw chicken together ahead of time, and we diced it up to make it easier to split. Now let me show you the two different ways to convert this crock pot recipe into two different kinds of freezer meal recipes. You can convert this one into a casserole that you'll bake in the oven. In a large casserole dish, a medium casserole dish, a smaller medium casserole dish, or even a tiny individual pie-sized casserole dish. I think for my purposes, I'm going to choose this size. Now, this is double. And if I have it, in fact, let me do that so that I'm not stingy. I'm going to put about half of the chicken and sauce back into that sauce bowl. Approximately, it's not going to be exact, but that's okay. Woo. Okay, I need my cooking spray. Spray each pan. The crock pot recipe calls for the chicken, the stuffing, and then the sauce. So we will put the stuffing down first and then the chicken sauce on top. Now look at that, the seasoning has sunk to the bottom. This portion has not been getting the seasoning, and this portion has a lot more of the seasoning. There we go. Now the bread, the stuffing bread, as it's cooking, is going to absorb the moisture from the sauce and from the chicken. And so the bread is going to expand as it cooks. I'll try to divide this part evenly. Just kind of flatten it, spread out the chicken so the sauce and the chicken covers all of the bread. I think think maybe the smaller container would be better. Let me try it for one of them. Yeah, that definitely looks better. I'm going to move this other one over too. Now, are you like worried that the stuffing is now on the top instead of the bottom? The stuffing by now is touching all of the moist part, so we're going to be okay. The key is to make sure there's an even distribution of the stuffing, the seasoning, the sauce, and the chicken. And I think we're close enough. Now, to freeze, we're going to wrap it in heavy-duty aluminum foil, label them, and then put them in the freezer. Always use heavy-duty aluminum foil for your freezer meals. Extra wide makes it easy. Summertime Thanksgiving casserole, thaw overnight in the fridge, uncover, and then bake at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes. Now you have two easy dinners, and they're the exact same thing as the crock-pot recipe, except for the crock-pot in the morning you have to mix and measure and get your hands all slimy with chicken. This one, you can just in the morning take it out of the freezer and put it in the fridge. When you come home at the end of the day, just takes 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the oven. Better get these freezing. The second way that you can modify this crock-pot recipe into a freezer meal is still making it a crock-pot recipe. Only you're still solving the problem of the morning mixing. You won't have to do that. We are going to freeze the mix. So in the morning, when you want to make the crock-pot recipe, you will pour in your box of stuffing and then put the frozen stuff, the frozen mixture on top of it. When you come back later, it will be all moist and mixed together and just delicious. You want to make it so you don't have to thaw and mix anything in the morning. You're just going to pour your stuffing in your crock pot, and your frozen block of chicken and sauce mixture will go in on top, frozen. Put the lid on, put it on your crock pot on low, and at the end of the day, everything will be delicious. So how do you freeze this chicken and sauce so that it fits in your crock pot when it's frozen? You can freeze it in a muffin pan. You can freeze it in a cake pan. That guy's a little bit too big. I think I'm gonna go for the muffin pan instead. So I'm going to move the crock pot out of the way. Here's my freezer baggie. Let me put all of this chicken and sauce in the baggie. Now, usually with freezer meals, I say to freeze them flat in the freezer. But if I do that and I pull out this frozen flat piece of chicken and sauce, it won't fit in the crock pot. I won't be able to put on my lid. That's why we're going to freeze it in the shape of this muffin pan. There we go. What about the stuffing? The stuffing is just going to stay in the box in your pantry until you are ready to make it. These are my favorite labels. It doesn't matter when you're using them on plastic bags that are just going to be thrown away, but if you're using these labels for your Tupperware in the freezer, they work so well because they come off with water. You just have to run your Tupperware under the water and wipe it right off, and there's no sticky residue. All right, so we've got Summertime Thanksgiving, Crock-pot, let's see, that's dry. Summertime Thanksgiving Crock-pot, and what do? Let's see, so we're going to place a box of stuffing in the crock-pot, top with frozen chicken mixture, and then it's low for all day long. Two different ways to change a crock-pot recipe into a freezer meal, and I gave you the reason to change a crock-pot recipe into the freezer meal. Freezer meals are all about making your life easier. Save money, save time, save stress, less mess, less waste. I have all sorts of resources in the description below. Click around on those things that you can find that you need for this recipe, things that you can find that would help you in your freezer meal voyage. Please like, subscribe, comment. It helps YouTube put my videos in front of other people who are interested in making their life so much easier with freezer meals. I'm Tonya. Bye-bye.
Joy Lab. Learning done right.
Learn more with Joy Lab. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Visit us at www.joylab.biz. Thank you.